Welcome to Team Tigio Court TV, where we upload videos every single day. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share our videos.
Waiver of indictment is about, what the plea paperwork is about, that we went over prior to coming into court today. Additionally, Your Honor, I did file 2 motions for intervention and move conviction on each case with regard to that, as Ms. Skarupa does qualify for that program. She has never been convicted of a felony offense or even a felony offense of violence with regard to her criminal history. Ultimately, these are not felonies of first, second, or third degree. Drugs were a leading factor involved in these offenses, Your Honor. And she does suffer from mental health issues. She was diagnosed previously with generalized anxiety, major depressive disorder as well. I believe that intervention and move conviction would substantially decrease the likelihood of running criminal activity and reduce any future criminal activity with that respect. And Ms. Skarupa is willing to do anything that entails her in any type of program that the court may deem necessary. Thank you.
All right, so as I reviewed this report, why would I accept a guilty plea on the obstruction case?
Your Honor, with that regard, I previously talked to my client with regard to that situation. I know at that time she wasn't receiving medication she informed me of that are helpful to clarity with regard to her mental health. She's now receiving that medication inside the jail. I talked to her after that interview with that respect. She does not consider this case as garbage, for a lack of terms. She understands the severity that's involved with it, and she will tell you that today.
Well, I mean, her statement to Ms. Crook is that this offense is bullshit and only agreed to intervention because you were not fighting for her, which I don't believe, by the way, just as an aside. But if she thinks this case is bullshit, then she doesn't think she's guilty of any of that offense. And so I'm wondering why I'm not in the habit of accepting guilty pleas from people who do not believe that they're guilty. So why in the world would I do that in this case?
Your Honor, I'm guilty.
Well, then why did you say the case was bullshit?
Because I was medicated and just irrational thinking. But what I did, in the woods was silly. Shouldn't have even been there. I did what I did, and
exactly what did you do?
I was in the woods hiking, and I ran from the police.
You were in the woods hiking?
Yeah, and I ran from the police. I got scared, so I put them in danger and myself. I did get hurt, which was also...
So you weren't at that house at all?
No.
Okay. So you guys got to help me in this thing, okay? Because as I read through this report, there's a call from a road worker working nearby who says this van, or this car, whatever it is, showed up 3 separate times that day, littering the property with some garbage. Sheriff's deputies get called, go investigate, look in the house. It's clearly somebody's been in the house. There's broken windows, broken doors, open doors. It sounds like the zoning inspector should be over at this property figuring out what's going on over there. But things are disturbed. There was a male all dressed in black who went a separate way from you when you got there this time. And so I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yes, Your Honor. So my understanding of everything, and this is speaking with my officers and the victim, is that Mrs. Skarupa's van, the defendant's van, was parked there 3 different times that day.
Why? Why was your van parked there 3 different times that day?
Somebody else was driving my vehicle at the
Who?
time. His name was George Alb. I don't even talk to him anymore. He wasn't.
Why was George Alp driving your vehicle 3 different times that day?
Yeah, I can't speak on his behalf, and I do not.
Well, your car.
Right.
Did he do it without your permission?
we didn't even have communication. His cell phone wasn't even working. I know he dropped me off like near the middle school down the street so I could just be in the woods because, again, just nature hiking. So he called me after he had left my van to tell me he left it where he left it. So I was completely unaware of the spot that he had left it.
He left it in front of the house.
Right.
And you were in the back of the
And
house
when I
when the
got up
police saw
there
you.
with the police,
Right.
I seen where he left
None
my
of
car.
this makes any sense to me. None of this sounds like it's true.
Well, it's the truth.
Well, it's not, okay? So why were you there 3 times that day?
I was not there 3 times that day.
Why was Alp there using your car 3 times that day?
Your Honor, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, where's Alp?
East Lake, I think, that's where he
What?
stays, I think.
Why was he dressed all in black? See, sounds like you guys were going in this house, is what it sounds like.
I wasn't in the house,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Nor was he.
All right, how do you know? He was there 3 times that day and you don't know why, when he was there.
I mean, I spoke to him one time after this, and I haven't seen him since.
Okay. So nobody went in the house.
We can't confirm that, Your Honor. The construction worker on the scene did say that he did not see anybody go into the house, but I will say that when police arrived on scene, cleared the house, it's their understanding and my understanding that Ms. Greppel was on the property, hiding behind the house.
I know, I know what they said. I know what it says. I know what she says, but none of this makes any sense to me. And nobody knows who the guy dressed in black is other than what Ms. Scareppa told me is George Alp, if that's his name. Why didn't they find out who that was?
From my understanding, there was some follow-up, Your Honor. I don't know.
Well, they asked her who it was, and she wouldn't tell them. That was the extent that they did anything.
And as far as I know.
So what's going on at that house that they're getting, that they get calls from there, and there's been complaints of squatters there, and this is another squatter call apparently. Okay, so what's going on there that this is happening over and over again? And why aren't they finding out what's going on there? Because this keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah, I don't know the answers to that, Your Honor. I do know that it is a frequent problem, and there is evidence of people being in that house quite frequently, such as sleeping bags and things of that nature being on the floor. But again, I can't say that the defendant was there.
You know, the simple answer to repeated squatter calls would be, why doesn't the owner secure the house? And then it wouldn't be a problem. Is that something that Concord is trying to do, rather than waste time of these guys running out there every time George Alp and his crew go out there? I mean, what the hell's going on here?
So I do know when I did speak with the victim when he was here briefly in the United States, in Ohio, he did say at one point he did secure the house, but when he came back, the door was there was some kind of barricade in front of the door, and when he came back, the barricade was no longer there.
There's a lot of, I don't know what's going on here. There's a lot of shit going on that nobody seems to be interested in. And I'm curious as to why this thing, with her record, was even bound over in the first place. So I don't know. I mean, sounds to me like you ought to go to trial on this thing. So you're hiking, your story is you get dropped off, have nothing to do with this house. you were simply dropped off to hike in the woods, the police call your name, and you run, and they chase you. Is that obstruction? Where's the obstruction? Based on Ms. Skorepka's view of the facts, is there obstruction in that view of the facts?
With her hiking through, it's my understanding that the, if the police had reasonable suspicion to detain her and she did not stop.
Okay, she's hiking. I'm not talking about their view that she's at this house, abandoned house. And what she's telling me is she's not guilty of obstruction. And how do I take a guilty plea if the person doesn't admit guilt to the offense? Not to a made-up offense, okay? We're not, this isn't a speeding case where we're going to avoid 2 points and have a loud muffler instead, okay? This is exposing herself to a felony conviction, potentially. So why would I accept a guilty plea based on what she tells me happened here?
Your Honor, I believe she would go in a little bit more detail about the encounter with regard to what had happened. Ultimately, we did have conversations about that, and I believe she would tell you a little bit more.
Besides the fact that when they called my name and I hid, and then when they called me out and I ran,
Why would you hide
does it scare me?
if you're just hiking through the woods?
It scared me. Why, I don't know why there was cops there.
So were you doing something you shouldn't have been doing and you were concerned that the cops were there?
I was high.
Right. Well, so what? What does that mean?
Just
See, this is where we get to another problem that we have here, okay? Because what you're trying to soft sell me is that you had nothing to do with a trespass in that house or being there multiple times during that day when you didn't have a right to be there or in the house, okay? And now you're trying to give me some half-assed story, okay, that you were just hiking, now then you hid and you didn't come out, then you ran. And that you're trying to give me something to hang my hat on that allows me to find you guilty or to agree, okay, that there is sufficient facts to support a guilty plea in this case. That's what you're trying to do. So nobody's being honest with me, which I'm used to, because whenever I sit here, nobody's honest with me, okay? So that doesn't matter, okay? But I can't accept guilty pleas without a complete admission of guilt.
Your Honor, I was on the property.
I know you were on the property, okay? Sounds like from what you're telling me, you were on the property by mistake because you were just hiking in the woods, okay? And I'm guessing that you weren't on the property by mistake, that you and whoever Johnny Cash was, all dressed in black, okay, were going to that property and doing whatever, all right? And you got caught. That's what I'm guessing.
This is just besides the point and not really a fact of the matter, but he would always wear black, and it was pointed out to him several times that he looks inconspicuous all the time wherever he was. So
Pointed out by who?
me, friends,
Okay.
people he hangs out with.
See, now you're telling me that you know more about George Alp than just an occasional he calls and uses my car, okay? So I can't, I mean, I've been out here for 20 minutes and I'm not getting straight answers, okay? The guy just used your car 3 times, okay? You don't really know him, and now you know him and you tell him not to dress in black and your friends tell him not to dress in black. So you gotta have a conversation with him.
Your Honor, I never said I didn't know
You
him.
gotta have a conversation with him, right? Because I'm not gonna accept a guilty plea based on this conversation, okay? So, she wants something, all right? And maybe the the problem is she probably hasn't been along through the system enough to know what a good lie is and a bad lie is from the standpoint of getting away with it, okay? So if she's not going to be honest with me, okay, then I'm not going to put her on intervention.
All right.
Forth with a little bit more details with regard to the instant offense, if she may.
Such as?
Your Honor, I've been told that George Alb has a past of trespassing, which actually I was completely unaware of. But that day, we had discussed this property. I did have him drop me off to enter into the woods, which took, it took about a 20-minute hike to get to the perimeter of the house. Now, I'm from Concord. I grew up in that area. So on my bus route, younger, I'd seen this immaculate house. Just beautiful. But recently, taking my daughter to Auburn, well, it's Lamouth now, I had noticed that it was dilapidated, overgrown, and there had been talks that it was empty. So I was in the backwoods. He had called me, said he left my van there, and I was upset with him that he had left it there. So by the time he called, I started walking up the hill. And I don't know if he went in to the house or not. Honestly, I do not know. I was told that he had been seen by people, and I started walking up the hill. I heard the police, sheriff's department yell. I did hide. When they did get into the backwoods, they called me out because I was crouched down, hiding, scared, obviously scared, and I ran. From that tasers, I stopped, and then we all ascended up the hill to find my van. There was stuff at the end of the gully, so I don't, if that was him getting stuff from out of the house. So, I mean, I'm guilty of being there. I'm guilty of being a part of whatever he was trying to do.
Well, what was he trying to do?
Apparently get stuff from inside the house.
Apparently. I mean,
There's a bunch of stuff sitting out. I did find like little trinkets on my walk. It looked like it was stuff the kids may have played with. They were like all scattered about the hill. I did put those in my pocket. To, you know, I don't know what else I would find, you know. Come to find him gone.
You didn't find those trinkets scattered about the hill.
There was.
Okay. You didn't. What time of day was this?
About 1 in the afternoon, Your Honor.
In April?
End of April, yes. Yeah, there wasn't snow. I found like a little fairy leg and figurine and
So what about this Alb character?
he's had problems with his parents and trespassing on their own property that I knew of. And that was the only case that I knew of with him.
How long have you known him?
Over a year. I met him through my brother. And he would just come around every once in a while, hang out. He was homeless, so I let him stay at my house sometimes.
Where do you live now?
I live in Painesville
Where?
with my brother and mother. No longer on Hawthorne.
What is your mental health diagnosis?
They said I was dual diagnosis, but I suffer from depression and anxiety.
How long have you been diagnosed with that?
About 5 years.
And what treatment have you had for that?
None.
Why not?
I've just been medicated, and I actually went off my meds
Well, where'd you get the medication if you weren't treated for it?
I had recently started going back to the doctors, and it was like August, and I'd just gotten my meds because I knew my mind wasn't right. I had been off of my meds prior to August for almost a year, and I could tell the difference. My family could tell, my friends. I was just irrational.
Would that have anything to do with the meth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where'd that come from?
It's a long story. My brother suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, and he is a not long time, but he used meth as well. And I had him stay with me because he was also homeless. And I wanted to help him. And I made the stupid decision of trying this drug to see what it was about. Yeah. Worst decision I could have ever made.
Okay, when was that?
About July of 2024.
So you had never used drugs before that?
I mean, I was smoking marijuana, and I've tried cocaine.
And how long had you been using those?
Marijuana,
Anything?
quite often.
How many years have you been using marijuana and cocaine?
Marijuana, probably since I was 18. It helped subside emotions and anxiety. It calmed me down. The cocaine, not till I was in my 30s, maybe a little bit in my 20s, but definitely more so in my 30s, probably frequently before the meth.
So you're telling me that that's when you first tried meth because you thought with your mental health issues and your cocaine use and your marijuana use, you were just curious as to what this drug was all about?
Honestly, yes. It was affecting my brother.
How was it affecting your brother?
I wanted to see if it was his mental health or if it was the drug. I wanted to try to relate to him, to try to help him, which doing the drug obviously wasn't the way to go.
Well,
And,
You knew that from the start.
well,
You couldn't possibly have thought
I didn't know what else to
that
do.
using meth would have been a good idea.
I wanted to relate to my brother, Your Honor. I wanted to help him. He's a paranoid schizophrenic who wasn't medicated. I didn't know how else to help. We've tried every option for the last 21 years.
Well, how about if you start with helping yourself
Yeah.
before you try to help somebody else?
And I had hit rock bottom so quickly,
Okay.
and I,
All right, so then you, once you started using, if that's when you started using, you kept using. Okay. So now what?
I realized that I couldn't help him.
Okay, forget him. I'm talking about you.
I know.
Now what? And part of the problem is what you just told me is you live with him, okay? That's the next problem we have to address. So now what for you?
I kicked him out.
Well, you just told me that you live with your mother and him.
Well, yeah. No, that's my older brother. I have 3
All
brothers.
right, all right. What are you gonna do?
I have
How old are
3
you
brothers.
now?
39.
Okay, so what are you gonna do? Because you've got no felonies on your record. Okay.
I don't ever want to go back to that drug or any drugs, Your Honor.
All right, so how are you gonna do that?
By getting a system, a network of sobriety people, I wanted to, actually, before I had gotten the drug charges, I wanted to enter into an IOP program on my own accord because I knew I had a problem that I didn't want to have anymore.
Okay. So
I had
did you-
lost my
did-
job, I lost my house.
Did you do that?
I hadn't, I got into trouble. So I was advised that I should probably try to get into that program, but everything kind of just snowballed so quickly. I was getting evicted out of my house. So I was packing up, trying to figure out what to do with that. And then my older brother, not the schizophrenic one, is who I live with, and my mother. I have 3 brothers. So he let me stay with him while I was, moving out, and then obviously now homeless. So I was wanting to get a job at Meyer, IOP program, going to AA meetings. I have a very close network of friends that do actually go to AA meetings quite often. My father was taking, who he's here right now, was taking my schizophrenic brother to AA meetings as well, and I hadn't stuck my feet in the ground to just do it yet. But I know that this was something that would benefit me immensely. Alliant, there's many rehabs that I was looking into, New Beginnings, Square One in Ashtabula, which is where the network of my friends go to AA meetings. They're involved with taking people from treatment facilities to meetings. Alliant, which is located in Shaker Heights, they are a mental and drug rehab, a very well-renowned mental and drug rehab facility. There is a secretary there who went there and is a huge advocate for it, who's been sober for 6 years. She loved the program enough that she's back there working. I even thought about maybe doing social work at Lake and Cuyahoga Recovery Services.
All right,
I can't do the social work, but.
Forget that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you can't do social work because
No, right,
you can't take care of yourself.
right. I need to get better. That's the most important part. And the rehab with the mental and the drug, I got a lot to uncover.
Did you tell me that you took your daughter to school somewhere in that area?
Yeah.
Where?
Lummuth Middle School.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
She's 14. She stays with her dad.
How come you didn't, how come the first I know about you having any children is right now? Because,
She doesn't stay with me.
all right, well, didn't you discuss that with with Ms. Crook when she was doing the report? You told her you didn't have any children.
That's true.
Why did you tell her that?
Because she, well,
Huh?
I wanted to leave her out of it. She doesn't live with me.
Okay, so what? So what? Okay, so,
I don't really even take care of her right now.
okay, well, she exists, right? See, this is the next problem. I don't know what else there is. I'm supposed to, Ms. Novotny wants me to put you on an intervention plan. And the intervention plan is to address whatever ails you so that you comply with the plan, so you complete the plan, so you don't get felony convictions. That's the point, okay? Doesn't do me a damn bit of good to sit out here and extract information from you that's important information that would lead me to put you on a plan that's going to accomplish the end goal. So this has been nothing but an extraction exercise since I've been out here from you about what you did, where you're at in your life, what else exists that impacts you. So how the hell am I supposed to implement a plan if you refuse to give all the information?
I was told by inmates to leave my daughter out of it.
You were told by what inmates?
Inmates in the jail.
Okay. How many times have you been in jail in your life?
This year,
No. How
3
many
times.
times in your life have you been in jail?
I was in jail in 2005 once,
For how long?
maybe 12 hours.
Okay. And then what else?
This year, 3 times. The first time 15 days, second time 12 hours, and now I've been in there for 30-some days.
Okay. So, in the process of this whole thing, how long have you been represented by Ms. Novotny?
Since April.
Okay. So you made the conscious decision to listen to these idiots in the jail and take the advice of these. Why are they in jail?
Because they broke the law.
Because they can't live by the rules of society. And you've got yourself a good lawyer here trying to help you, and you're listening to these nimrods over here. Why is that?
Scared?
Scared of what?
I don't know, Your
You
Honor.
don't know. You don't know.
Honestly, I don't know. It's more involvement with trouble. I don't want more trouble than.
So I don't know what you're all about as I sit here.
Just
I know you've got mental health problems that you've refused to treat in the past. I know you've got drug addiction problems that you refused to treat in the past. Both need to be treated. I don't know all the other factors that go into it, okay?
Your
Because
Honor.
external factors affect that, okay? There's external factors out there. Okay, one is your daughter. I don't have the slightest idea where she lives, who she lives with, how often you see her, what she's like, because these dipshits tell you to leave her out of it. Okay? you refuse to talk about, you refuse to acknowledge the existence of George Alb, who's a known, since I've come out here the first time, I found out that he's a chronic pain in the ass with law enforcement. Okay, you're hanging around him. You short shrift what you know about him, how you know him, when you hang around with him, how long you've known him. Okay? I don't know what other external factors out there, other people that you hang around with. Okay, because you pretty much... I don't know who's David Shipley.
He's my boyfriend.
Who is he?
I mean, he's my boyfriend. I met him.
Okay, what does that mean? Where does he work? Does he live somewhere? How often do you see him? Another external factor. Does he use drugs?
No, Your Honor. I did
Okay.
meet him while I was, doing the drugs.
How did you meet him? If he doesn't do drugs, how is it that you were hanging around him while you were using
Okay,
drugs?
so we first met and were using.
Okay.
And
See, what I want here,
Yes.
okay, is we're not going to continue this hearing today. We're going to do this hearing on another day. Okay. You're going to go back. You're going to talk to Ms. Crook,
Okay,
and you're going to quit the bullshit.
okay,
Give her honest information. Okay. Give her information that you refuse to give so far to her and to me and your lawyer. Because if you have any hope of being on an intervention plan, then you better tell me everything that I need to know for a proper plan.
okay,
Because if you don't, and I put you on a plan, sure as shit you'll be back here again having violated. And you'll be convicted. And you'll continue to spiral downward. Okay? When you go over here, stop listening to the morons in the jail. They're in jail for a reason.